welcome to the GameFace MPNFL Netball Show. I tell you what, girls, I'm up and about tonight. We are definitely in final season. A bit of sun shining on the weekend and happy days. I can't wait to chat about it tonight. We're definitely spoilt with some great games as well. We had a result in Div 1 C grade that was 1 goal, which is amazing, and A grade also went to overtime. So can't wait to hear all about that tonight, Lou. And let's just jump straight into it and have a look at the EDS and YC show, please, Lou.
Oh, stop it.
Before we get into the EDS and YC
I'm
show.
leaving.
Sorry, Christy. That's what happens. We'll have a look at the under 17s coming up this week. Had the bye, given that there's only 6 teams, so only playing a final 4 this season. So on Saturday down at Rye, we have 1 versus 2. So the biggest thing with the 17s competition is Mount Eliza went through undefeated and are a really great team. And then 2nd, 3rd and 4th all finished on the same amount of points. So the games really are going to be close between, 3rd and 4th on the Sunday more, I think, than the 17s on the Saturday with Rosebud trying to take on Mount Eliza. I do think Rosebud, if they can bring, it's finals time, anything can happen. If they can bring their solid game, get right into the game and never say die attitude, they'll go really close to taking it out. But I do think Mount Eliza will get over the line. Hopefully they have a little bit more support down at the courts than they had this week with
Makes
their
a difference.
because it definitely makes a D grade.
It makes a D grade difference.
So we've got Mount Eliza, Rosebud on the Saturday. They've taken, obviously they're undefeated, so taken away both those games by a decent margin, but we should see Rosebud come finals time hopefully step up a little bit.
Be interesting whether if Mount Eliza is that far ahead, whether Rosebud, Mornington, Sorrento kind of join forces and go, right, so who's going to be the best team come grand final day to match up?
Like a super team?
Yeah, well, no, not make a super team, but see if you'd hope that that's a team that does progress to the finals, but sometimes it's not necessarily match up. So, we'll throw you this one because we reckon you're going to have the best opportunity there.
You want the team that's going to take it to them the most.
Yeah, you want the best games across all grand finals.
Exactly. And then down at Chelsea on Sunday we have Mornington versus Sorrento. So both up for the grabs, really could take this game. Mornington getting the win the last time they played by 3 goals, so anyone's game. And it'll be interesting to see who comes away with the chocolates to maybe take that step on to the next game in the prelim and take on Mount Eliza if they make it to the grand final.
Very interesting.
And then moving on into D grade, so we had some not really cracking games, I would say, on Saturday and Sunday last
Disappointing
week.
games, would you say then?
We expected it to be a lot closer, I think.
Could I say that this might then be something to review in respect to a top 5?
Possibly, but the 5th team actually belted the 4th team, so that would go the other way.
Okay.
So
Maybe they should have done better throughout the year.
Bomb Beach came out with a cracking game on Sunday. Unfortunately, I was still in bed, so wasn't able to try to fight off my...
Too early?
Because of the flu?
Yes, I was.
Right,
actually.
okay, yep, just checking.
I was in bed very early Saturday night. I was glad we had the week off. So Dramata going down 17 to Bomb Beach's 40. So Bomb Beach, we played them last rounds and we only got away with the win in D grade by 3 goals. They were up and about, really focused on their second...
Well, that's the right time of the year to do it.
They're running to the finals and they wanted to knock the girls off. They couldn't quite get there, but...
Div 1's a little different to Div 2, obviously.
Well, not everyone wants to win. Let's be honest, coming into the finals. They weren't able to get away with that win, but they took it to Dramana on Sunday and really came away with quite a convincing win in the end, and that'll take a lot, give them a lot of momentum coming into Mount Eliza on Sunday.
Who didn't perform as well as we thought on the weekend either.
No, they were actually quite disappointing. So they just didn't react to the game that was being played on Saturday.
What was the weather like down at Rosebud last weekend?
There was a bit of wind actually.
It was windy.
Yeah, because
but the sun was out.
But the sun was out.
Yeah, so similar conditions of them that what we played in, but because 13 is
it's quite
a low score.
And if you watch the game, they just couldn't convert the ball. They got it down
that
there
old
quite
chestnut.
a bit. They had a lot of the ball. The defenders were getting their hands to it, and that was even YC were missing a few, but then they were converting quite well.
Yep.
And in the
Where
second half,
rebounding
converted
plays a
beautifully,
big
rebounded,
key.
just worked the ball in, whereas Mount Eliza are probably a little impatient and throwing passes that weren't really there, particularly in the wind, and it took them quite a bit to adjust. They really didn't look like a team.
Perhaps used to having it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But it could be finals pressure too. Are they a young side, experienced side?
Bit of both. There are quite a few young girls in there, and there's obviously some more experience in there.
Because
as
finals
well.
just brings a different
different
pressure than your home and away rounds.
If you don't adjust to what's happening on the court at that time, and you just try and play,
that goes for anything. That's weather. That's umpiring. That's just how your team is playing on the day.
They didn't really adjust to anything.
You have to react.
The opposition they were playing, the weather conditions, and then continually costly under the goal ring. So it was in YC actually played a really great game. Not being biased or anything.
They did, as an unbiased watcher, they did play a very good game.
They played quite well and were able to convert and continue.
And the crowd was up and about, weren't they, Lou? So that makes a massive difference.
That was a huge difference. So Mount Eliza, I was talking to the Mount Eliza coach and two coaches, and it was about a 15 to 50 bench really, and that was when the game was there to be won in that second quarter when Mount Eliza had come back a couple.
Yeah, 50 people on your sidelines is going to get loud.
The YC girls just turned on the volume, and then that was it. There was a few more goals, and it was their game. So looking ahead to this week, we have Edie versus YC on the Saturday, first of the Edie YC show.
Yes.
Edie have taken the win both times coming into this game, both rounds this season. I think.
Well, D-grade has finished undefeated.
Yes, D-grade is undefeated, so the girls know. I know there's
pressure's on though. Pressure's on when that happens.
Yes.
A couple of tricks up their sleeve that they went into their last game really focused on what they can do to beat EDS come finals time, so they weren't really worried about.
Anybody else?
No, not anybody else. But that game, they were like, it didn't matter if they won or lost. So they were going to try a few things to see if it worked. So I know they're going to be up and about.
Which clearly it did.
A really nice game on Saturday.
Would have thought that's what the home and away season's for, though. I don't know if come finals. I know that you've got the second chance option there, but doing some positional changes and seeing what works and what doesn't. Don't know if that's first week of finals kind of stuff.
No. They did that when we played them.
Oh, the last time round. Okay. Oh, that's because that was only a few weeks ago, wasn't it?
A few weeks ago.
Yeah.
No, they definitely didn't do that on Saturday. They were playing to win. And I think this will be a really good game. YC are going to really need to bring their A game. That your ED D grade team is fantastic, but with the week off, who knows if it can.
You don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, do you, until you play?
Yeah, so whoever wins this will go straight into the granny, and obviously second chance for the other team. But it's going to be a cracking game, and I'll let you guys decide who wins that. And then heading into Sunday, we have Mount Eliza Bomb Beach, and it's really going to be up for the taking.
Even though Bomb Beach finished fifth, their form really shows that it's going to be a tight game, I think.
They've been a really strong team all season, even though they were fifth. Doesn't mean anything. We've had teams come from fourth in previous years and then take the cup away from other teams that have finished on top. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Sunday. I think.
Can Mount Eliza bounce back?
Yeah, depending on what Mount Eliza team turns up will depend on who takes the game. If they turn up with some fire in their belly and actually wanting to play as a team, ready to adjust, not getting frustrated with each other just over a silly pass, I think they'll be able to get the job done, but Bomb Beach won't go away lying down, and they'll be there ready to take the 4 points. So, well, not 4 points, take the win.
No points of percentage in these games. Well, considering that we're already highlighting Mount Eliza as the under 17 flag favourite, I'm throwing all my support behind Bomb Beach for Sunday. So I like to share it around. So let's go Bomb Beach.
We'll see what happens there.
Very interesting.
Coming into C grade, we had on Sunday a really great elimination final. I just made it to the end to see the final whistle, so unfortunately wasn't able to get there for the game.
Which would have been a cracker.
Overtime, so it would have been a real absolutely amazing game to be at for a C grade, that final to go
And with
into
1
overtime.
point difference, it almost moved to the next part where you had to have the 2-goal margin. So,
Really
that
great
would have been
effort
tough.
by both teams, who have really had an awesome second half to the season, and really either of them could have taken that game. So we have Rosebud coming away with the win, who will play Bomb Beach this week, who were unlucky to come away. They just probably were too costly in your game on Saturday, Sammy. So we had Edie and Bomb Beach on Saturday with YC with the week off, and they just weren't accurate in front of goals. Relying on 1 or 2 players to do a lot of the work. Probably weren't choosing the right options. Wendy had a cracking game.
She was unbelievable.
Defence.
I'm biased, but she was.
No, she was great, pulling off. They just didn't adjust to her being able to pull off some of those wing attack swings, and they kept throwing them there, which she just came out and chowed them down. She was like, that's my ball.
To be fair to our team too, I think the other girls in the attacking end as well really stepped up their game, and I think everybody really played well. And when you all play well on the court, I think that makes a massive difference. And
you just stole my next point.
Sorry.
I was going to give you
There you go.
wasn't just the Wendy show.
Not just the Wendy show. It usually is just the Wendy show, can I just say? But yeah.
And I was about to say that you guys have actually moved the ball down the court with ease and quite beautifully, where Bomb Beach really struggled to get that connection in and just choosing the wrong options when they weren't there. So weren't able to there was only about an 8-goal win, I think, in the end.
It felt very tight. I feel like the scoreboard, even throughout the whole game, didn't really reflect, I think, the game that was going on. It felt for us a lot tighter.
Bomb Beach were up for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think from a sideline point of view, you definitely knew that EDS were in control and had a
Well, that's
good
good to
5
know.
or so lead, and that Bomb Beach needed to do a couple of things to try and chase down that lead. Heading into this week, though, we have Bomb Beach and Rosebud on Sunday.
It'll be a tough ask for Rosebud,
It's going to be, I think, coming off an overtime game. You know, it's an extra 10 minutes in your league.
Oh, come on.
We'll see what happens. But I think this game.
Plenty of time to recover. They've got the extra day.
That's true.
Bonnie do. Rosebud do.
I think this is absolutely anyone's for the taking. Both really strong teams to play against. So whoever is able to, if Bomb Beach can improve their accuracy in front of goal and just settle into the game rather than rush a few things, I think they'll be dangerous. But really,
those finals nerves can really get to you too. And Bonnie, as we know, haven't been in the finals very much, so that would be a new experience for them perhaps. So after that game,
they might have settled a little bit and seen. Actually,
it given them a lot of experience to draw from.
Probably says more about my
mindset.
Not mindset, but me actually taking notice of people. There was a couple of girls that I didn't see last time we played. Them could have been unavailable, and then I don't remember the time before anyway. That's too far.
Yeah, too long ago. Yeah.
But yeah, they just looked like they had some fresh legs on the court as well, which is good. And they've also got their D grade in there, so still a few. Both teams there we'll see what happens.
Very interesting.
With that game.
I'm going to go for Rosebud with that one.
Rosebud?
Yep. Go for the finishing 5th, just to,
gotta go the
that's right.
I think they're a great team. And
Bomb Beach for the D grade win, Rosebud for the C grade. We'll see how we go. Yeah, sure.
And then tomorrow we have YC and EDS in the second part of the YC Edie show.
Hang on a minute, I'm just going to put the timer on.
Look,
and I'm going to give you...
There's not much to say about this game,
a minute, go.
We've not been able to get the chocolates against Edie the last 2 times. 4, maybe 5 goals, I think, was our margin last time.
Tight both times.
Yeah. First one, we lost Jamie with her finger injury. And
yes, remember those photos, yep.
So we were 7 players in the
final. Is Lou the difference?
I was there last time. Not that I took the call, but I was there.
That doesn't count.
And then we obviously have, we played a couple of weeks ago and we went down by 5 in the first 5 minutes, really. So we'll see what happens this week.
Finals is a different game.
It could be anyone's game.
Yeah, that's when a warm-up really makes a difference. So that first 5 minutes, if you've had a good warm-up, you should be able to take that court and just go from the start. If you've had a poor warm-up or there's some things that are distracting on the sidelines.
Yeah, it was more the distraction because we actually had a really great warm-up and then we were ready too early because the umpires were taking their time. We were like up on the line. And
come on.
So I think we were just a little bit too overexcited and that was the whole we lost the toss, or won the toss, I think, for the first time that season. So
wow.
that meant we were
Jinxed
going to
you.
lose the game. So we'll see what happens.
It's amazing how the toss of the coin, there is a lot of people who have superstition around that, to the extent that even if they win the coin toss, they'll go, well, I don't want the centre pass, because I normally lose it and we always have to pick the end.
Well, Jamie wasn't sure what to do when she won it because she was running back. She goes, I won, what do I do? And I was like, just go with it. It really isn't going to be why we lose the game.
No, you'd hope not.
So, we'll see who's smiling next week and who's going to do some
who's
work
having
in the next game.
some palpitations about the next one. Yeah.
Again, though, there's a second chance there for you, girls.
There is.
So
Exactly.
we'll stay friends for another week.
Moving into B grade, on the Sunday we had the elimination final, Sorrento versus Dramana. I was able to watch that game, and it really was a tale of the defence ends. Sorrento's defenders picking off some brilliant balls, and as well as the Dramana defence. But the Sorrento goal defence and goalkeeper were just amazing for their team, but the ball, they kept sending the ball back down and
it kept straight back.
Welcome to the life of the defender.
Unfortunately for Sorrento, they had their chances. It was really close. It was only 5 goals in the end, and they got within, I think, 2 goals in the last quarter. They just were costly down that attack end. It was a wet day, and it took both teams a while to realise they were playing wet weather netball. They just kept going out of court.
Too much fun.
The rain didn't give it away.
Well, it wasn't raining, it was just wet. It had been raining. So, but Dramana were able to get that, come away with that win and really stood up when it counted. So that was only a 5-goal win to them, and a really pretty tough game for both teams on the court that day. And then on the Saturday we had Frankston YC versus Rosebud. I did think I jinxed the girls after saying it's a 2-horse race because Rosebud came out and it was 2-0 and I was sitting at the score bench like,
and a few people would have been looking your way going, Lou, shut your mouth.
But they turned it around and they actually played a really cracking game. Lisa Wade coming out with some real sneaky intercepts through the centre court, and they just didn't just kept going and going. And
she would have been up and about and telling you all about it, I'm sure.
She does like a little look to the sideline. Did I do good there? But she's allowed to when she does do well. So well done, Jenna. But no, the goalers combined beautifully. They just took advantage of the intercepts when they had them, and Rosebud, after watching them on Saturday, they will be the team that shakes this grade up a little bit, if that is to happen. The scoreboard was obviously went out to 20 goals. A couple of interesting changes that happened that I probably wouldn't have made if I was in the coaching position, because the goalers were actually playing really well and beating, not always beating, but we're up there for the challenge. But then again, you do need to, when you're down by that, you've got to make something.
Got to do something different.
Try to get something to work.
If you can make
Stem
that happen.
it. Yep.
But a defender came on at half time. I think it was, or may have even been through the
through the quarter.
Third quarter in Casey Bishop, and I would have had her on the court for the whole game. I'm not sure why, or there may have been reasons why she wasn't, but she was.
Well, I think she's playing for C grade.
Well, that was.
I don't know in terms of qualifications whether she's qualified for C grade now, but I know we played her in C grade.
Yeah.
So whether they've tried to qualify for C grade so that she's got an option in both games, but I know
so
she's definitely good enough to play B grade.
I was going to say, that's impressive if she's playing C grade and you've just called her out to say she should have been on the court for the B grade final.
Yeah.
It's why in the world was this girl ever playing C grade? She should have been playing B grade.
I think she's a recruit for them about halfway through the season maybe, so I think they might have brought her on
So just
board.
one of those luxury ones that is
Like,
just qualified
just
enough
coming
for
in.
everything.
Yeah, I think so.
Just from her performance in the last quarter and a bit, she combined really well with, I think it's Imogen, or I might have just said in Indy or something like that in goalkeeper.
Yep.
They played both played really.
She knows who we're talking about.
In that last quarter, and I probably would have had her on a little bit earlier because she did shake some things up, make the goalers change,
Work
do
hard.
a few different things. But obviously she's playing in. I did see her in a uniform on Sunday, so that's a handy in for the C grade
Yes,
team.
definitely.
She would have had to put a quick dress wash overnight to get it ready to go for the following day.
And moving into this weekend, we have the final of the EDS YC show.
Yeah.
So we won't have to talk about it as much longer.
Until next week.
But again, EDS got the 2 wins over us this season. So, but there's a little weapon that didn't play either of those games for YC.
Oh, what's the
Jano-
news?
Go
Jano's
secret
been
weapon.
Oh, Jana's got promotion.
No, Jano's been in Vegas this week, so
Oh.
we'll see how she comes back. She might
Hopefully she'll be all right.
Look, I can tell you,
got back today, so she was happy.
first round of finals, the defender that I play with, Amy, flew in from Greece. She landed at Melbourne Airport Friday night for us to play on the Saturday. And, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, that's tough.
Mind you, Amy also flew home with a child who would have been sitting on a lap predominant for
Lisa's
a lot
kid-free,
of the
and
flight.
she's back a little bit earlier than
Yes,
the Friday
but
night.
I don't know if Vegas and what happens in Vegas can affect maybe the condition of you when you
days,
arrive
yeah.
home. I don't know.
I think if anyone's that met Jano, she's probably the only person, or Lisa Wade, so she's probably the only person that could handle that and still be 5,000 miles an hour.
Yeah, the good thing about Jano too is that she could be in cuddle class and still have plenty of leg room to stretch out in, so she should be fine.
But yeah, it'll be another cracking game. We obviously know who I want to win, and we know, Sammy, who you want to win.
It's true.
So Christy,
And
it's up
I
to you.
am not getting
Don't
involved.
choose.
No.
And then on Sunday we have Rosebud versus Dramana, and just from watching both teams on the weekend, I think Rosebud have this game sewn up. It will be a tough game, and I think Dramana won't go down now that they're A grade are out of the finals mix, which we'll touch on in a minute. They'll
bring it. They'll want to
be
win.
the only team trying to push it through. So we'll see what happens, but I think Rosebud will have this one.
Well, that one I'm going to go for Dramana, only because it's an ex-Summy girl, Millie, who's down there coaching that team, so
Yes.
a little bit of invested interest in there. So spreading it around again, we'll tick for win for Dramana on that one. Yep.
And then
Good luck,
in A
Millie.
grade, we were spoiled on Saturday to a overtime
Absolute
clash.
Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Blockbuster. So
Yeah.
Did not
Edie
disappoint.
Did not disappoint. Sorrento. So Edie had the lead for most of the second half, and the lead changed a few times in the first half.
I think
but-
Sorrento dominated the first half, and then
Yeah, I think if
Left them run too late, did they? Edie to
No.
come back over?
No, so
No, so-
they were in control. I think the fourth quarter,
they were definitely,
but
I
that
think
last
they were
half
up
of
at
the
half-time.
fourth quarter, not so much.
Breaking it right down.
Yeah.
They were definitely up at half time and into the third quarter. And then really it was just the belief in Sorrento that took them across the line. So it was a close game, not really anything in it, back and forth. Hannah Mundy switching in from wing attack into goal defence. So amazing that a player can do that in an A-grade competition.
Yeah.
You don't really normally have the wing attack goal defence switch.
No.
But it really did work. It changed up what they needed to in the defence end.
And I think the scorer was up when Sorrento shot that last goal.
Yeah, definitely.
Just before
the siren,
end of the
the
fourth
time-
quarter.
the timer was
It was
up.
tight.
But it's interesting that you say that because Dion Douglas played goal defence for Crib Point, A grade on the weekend, and she normally sits in the centre court as well, so she's normally their centre. So she played in goal defence, and I thought that was a brilliant move because Emily Bennett is a shorter goaler, and so it was a perfect matchup. So it really just depends.
It actually showed how tall Hannah is when she went into defence because she
She didn't stick out.
She didn't stick out, but you could actually see that she is quite tall when she went into the defence end. So they switched that up quite well. It really was anyone's game the whole way through. As I said, the
Lots
league
of twists
changed
and
quite
turns,
a few
yeah,
times.
yeah.
But if I was EDS, I probably would have wanted to come away with the win, particularly being six goals up in that last quarter.
Yeah.
It can be quite frustrating. And then obviously the momentum was with Sorrento as they came into that last bit of full-time game, and they were able to get the draw and go into overtime. So then you had, EDS up by a couple at the break, and then they extended their lead out to about 3, and Sorrento clawing it back again to be able to get over the line by it. We were all standing there thinking it was going to be another overtime, but they were able to sink
Just
that
hold
last
on.
shot. Really great to see Sorrento have a crowd at the netball in a finals game, and they were up and about. We were standing next to some of the older guys, and they were their voice was awesome.
Booming.
You know, some of their calls were more footy related, but they were there.
That's all right. If they cheer for the full back and not give it to the full forward, and the concept's the same.
That's right.
And if they, they can yell out holding the ball, because again, very similar kind of calls. Just
we've got some footage a little bit later of the Sorrento sideline, but that really is what got them across the line when it was there. EDS had a few people there, but it was quite quiet. When they were getting close and getting up and about, the roar just would have definitely pushed the girls on. So a cracking game, and Sorrento being able to come across with the 1-goal win.
A few lessons there for our girls, I think. Just, can never take the foot off. Never, ever, ever.
no. Some things to work on at training.
Think so.
And probably the last bit, they were probably a little bit inaccurate in the goaling end when push came to shove.
And yes, Sorrento didn't miss.
So can EDS get back now to
meet them in
the granny?
Well, Sorrento will have to do some work this weekend on Rosebud, so it'll depend on what happens this weekend, but it potentially could be a...
it could be out of any of those three, couldn't it?
Okay.
Yeah. Well, we still have to beat Mornington.
And then we see Mornington coming up on the weekend. I think a lot of people had written Mornington off after the end of the season and had penciled Dramana in for the win for this game on Sunday. I didn't watch most of it. Our footy boys were playing, we were getting pumped, so we were watching them get pumped, which was fun. But I did have a look at the score. I watched the first quarter, and Dramana were just more in the first quarter, taking their chances more, and were able to convert. There wasn't really anything in it at that stage. We looked at the score, and there was only 2 goals in it, so we came back over and had quite a good look at the last quarter, and Mornington were able to get on top and just extend that lead, making sure they were, converting the turnovers and getting the ball into their circle and just working it through, not being costly and going for a ball that wasn't there. I did note that Dramana brought on their goaler that had played the full B grade game in their last quarter, so I'm not sure if they had a couple of injuries. They did have one girl go off in the last quarter, hobbled off, who was actually absolutely phenomenal. She was in defence, but when we came back, she was in centre, and while I was there, she was taking intercepts left, right and centre, so she was very handy for them. But Mornington able to get the job done and really just work their team around and take away the win, and I think we see Hollywood return from holiday.
I believe so,
this
yes.
week, so that'll be another addition to
Massive
them.
So if Mornington beat EDS, when would the last time it be that EDS wasn't in an A-grade grand final?
2014 or 15, I think.
And that would probably be the only time?
Yeah,
Yep.
there was
I think it was 1 year that they missed.
So
One year
it
they
just
fell
shows
away.
that
Yeah.
the competition is just getting tighter and it's improving. Massive inclusion with Holly coming back. Again, all of their flights, could play a part in how well you back it up, but she's an athlete and there'll be no doubt about the fact that she'll be a massive inclusion. So I look forward to hearing how that game goes.
Yes, it'll be tough.
Again, this weekend is absolutely going to be...
For both games, it's going to be massive,
both games,
isn't it?
absolutely cracking games in netball.
But that just shows how tight the A-grade has been this year as well.
Yeah, definitely does, and it's what you want finals netball to be.
Absolutely.
So both, I think Sorrento and Rosebud, I'm going to go with Rosebud just because I think...
They've been dominant.
Yeah, I'd love to see them in the grand final. And then
10-year anniversary?
10-year anniversary, we've mentioned a couple of times, so we'll see what happens there. And then EDS Mornington, I did tip Mornington way back at the start, so I'm going to have
Sticking
to
with that.
To see how they go.
now that they've got Holly back, so we'll see what happens.
We have massive, massive weekend of netball, so good luck to all teams playing tomorrow and on Sunday, of course. And, we'll see how we go.
All right, so we'll have a look at Division 2 so you girls can have a breather. But up next is Netflix and Skills. So right after this message from our sponsor, Swiss Locker.
Thanks so much to Swizz Locker for their support. If you need any netty singlets or netty trip tops, just definitely look at swizzlocker.com.au. And now it's time for Netflix and Skills.
First, we have some footage of Lance Sorrento's head coach on the weekend, and this just shows how up and about she was to bring home that win. I saw it was happening a couple of times. I'm like, I'm going to get some footage of this. This is amazing. And just like the run up and down the court, and it was like, yeah, and then like you could just see how much it meant to her. The fist pump, everything there. It was a crucial goal, and it was, I think, this was brought them within one in that final little part, and the whole crowd, even the guys next to us, they were up and about, and just to watch Lange running up and back, it was pretty special.
Yeah, good on her. All right, so next we have some action shots from the games, and I know it was a bit gusty at our Division 2 games. Clearly it was also in Division 1.
Perfect timing with the camera there.
Yeah,
perfect timing, and if she was able to get that ball off and hit a successfully and hit a teammate, then she's done well.
I don't know. Do you just tie it back a bit more? I don't know.
Yeah, I can't play with a ponytail like that.
Might have to plait mine. Although then you you whack yourself in the eye with it. That's no fun. Let's move on. So we've got now. Thanks. We've got a flashback now to it's actually Mad Monday for EDS back in 2015. So yes, we had some good outfits there. Yeah, we won't go into too much detail there. I think
the best part of the outfits are 3 flags that you're holding.
Yeah, that is.
You can wear whatever you want when you're holding those.
That is very true. And we've got Franks and Bombers here as well with their wedding themed Silly Saturday, which I don't know. I feel like they're too good looking. That's just very nice.
That was clearly earlier in the night because they're not that good. They're not that good looking towards the end. And it's great at this time of the year. I know that our club's full steam ahead in working out what's going on for our Silly Saturday that we hold. So I'd be very interested to hear what everybody's doing out at the club. So make sure that you send in your information if you've got some little bit of gossip around what the clubs are doing, what your themes are, that type of stuff. And then aftermath, we want to see the photos.
Absolutely. So thanks so much, guys, for sending those through, and definitely keep sending them through. Like you said, if there's any nice Silly Sunday, Silly Saturday, Mad Monday, anything, send them through. We want to see it. And now we're going to move on and have a look at Div 2, Christy. So moving on to the Karinkle Show.
I feel like I'm so overwhelmed by you two that I'm here on my lonesome to look after to Division 2, but we'll go ahead and we'll see how we go. Okay, so first up I will say that our semi-finals on the Saturday that were held at Chelsea were difficult for every team that took the court because of the wind. So that was just coming through. I really did feel for the goalers, for all of the clubs that were taking the court. Thankful that I wasn't out there in general, but especially as a goaler, because some of the best goalers in the comp that I know who would rarely miss a goal were having them just go straight over the end of the post, and I'm just like, wow.
Was it a swirly wind?
It was a swirly, yuck, like changing directions. Sometimes it would just be swirly, sometimes it was going straight across. It was,
you can't predict it. It was so hard,
it was just mixing up. So it wasn't pleasant. So I'm just wanting to make that call out just from the very start.
Well done, goalers.
Yeah, well done, goalers, because it's a tough job at the best of times. So semi-final, the first one in under 17s, we had Seaford versus Chelsea, who had originally finished first and second on the ladder. A nice tight one with Seaford coming away with a win against Chelsea. So that was a really great effort there. And the elimination final the following day, last Sunday at Mornington, different conditions there. So our Mornington games, it was a lovely day in the morning, and then it deteriorated over the rest of the day. So the under 17s were lucky enough to get a reasonably good day. Another really close one there with Red Hill on 30 goals defeating Hastings with 27. So what that means, again, as we know with the under 17s, is that they have, because we've got the top 5, in Div 2. So they'll continue to run like we do. So the prelim final, hosted by myself at Summy on Saturday, we'll see Chelsea take on Red Hill. So this is a bit of a redemption game. So this is the first game that was played first week of the finals, 2 versus 3. And the winner will then take on Seaford the following week in the grand final back at Summy. So, look, I'm going to go. This is the game that
Red Hill.
It's tough.
This is the game that I thought Red Hill would win convincingly, and then Chelsea had a really ordinary warm-up, came out and just dominated. I really think that Chelsea's still got it. I think that they'll do the same and they'll beat Red Hill. Red Hill, I think, just needs to learn to use their height a little bit better. Like these under-17 girls are just ginormous. I'm jealous of, they're all...
I'll be able to... I'll take them and
tall, skinny girls. I still think that Chelsea will win that. So we'll see how we go.
I'm going to go Red Hill there.
Okay.
Expert opinion.
Your expert opinion?
I'll wait and see.
Well, okay. Then we got on to D grade. So the semi-final at Chelsea saw Coringal defeating Chelsea, so 33-25, 8-goal margin. The horrible thing that came out of this game was that Sarah Burke, who recently had a big milestone game, is probably the heart and soul of the Coringal club, has injured, we think, her Achilles. Seeing her last Sunday at the footy in a moon boot already, so I'm not sure if we know the degree of that injury yet, but we hope that it's nothing too serious and that she's back on the mend and back on the court soon. So
you never want to see someone do an injury, but more so you never want to see them do it in a final.
Yeah.
And played all season. And
that's right. And then what's going to happen too is, so that it's whether that team can now move on from that and progress, because they've obviously gone straight through the grand final now. So they've got a bit of time to get their heads around it. But
do we know when about the injury happened during the game? If they were able to come back from it or if it was a little bit too late?
It was towards the end of the game, so probably didn't they were an 8-goal margin. I don't know if it was well and truly in control, but you can probably stem that at that stage, but it might be different across the whole game. But it didn't end there. So there was another injury across that game as well. So Sammy Cameron from Chelsea, she went down with a nasty injury during that game as well, and she was stretchered off the court, which we never like to see. And that's a suspected ACL. So again, haven't heard if there's been some results that have come through from that. But Achilles and ACLs, they're two of the they're probably two of the most horrible netball injuries, and there's been a lot of them across netball in the last year or two. So to both those girls, I really hope that they're not as bad as what we thought on the day, and wish you all the best in your recovery. So what that will mean is that tomorrow Chelsea will take on Red Hill to have the opportunity to meet Coringal in the grand final the following week. And so it's a bit of a deja vu from the previous game, so Chelsea versus Red Hill.
In straight sets from second.
Yes. And look, Langmore are a very experienced side, and I don't know, I think they'll be disappointed, but that said, they'll probably also really enjoy their silly Saturdays and all that type of stuff as well. They would have probably preferred a little bit of silverware, but I hope all those girls decide to come back and go around again, because they're a great little side. So Chelsea versus Red Hill. So like I said, same kind of lineup. Depending on what time you come down to the courts, you're not going to be getting yourself confused. And I think I went with Chelsea with the last game, so I might go with Red Hill for this one.
And then coming from fifth, they could be that real underdog.
Dark horse.
Dark horse that you just have that little bit of
It'd be interesting if we get a few fifth place teams, if they make it through to the grand final, can justify why we've actually held a top 5 final series. So, and then it'll be Coringal, maybe Red Hill with all the red dresses. So good luck with that. If you need to borrow my blue bibs, let me know. All right, C grade. This was the battle of, on the Saturday, the battle of the team that I just don't think can be beaten, and that was Coringal, who won 49-20. So
very convincing in a final.
A massive, and that was 1 versus 2. To have that type of score line in windy conditions, shitty conditions, excuse my language, bleep that out if you need to. But yeah, and they just won it convincingly. I spoke to a couple of the Coringal players after the game, and look, to be honest, they didn't even look like they'd
Played
a full game.
Oh, no.
So they've got a lot in the tank. And so I just don't think there's anyone who's going to be able to knock that side off. On the Sunday at Mornington, we saw Red Hill play Devon Meadows. So Devon Meadows had the two sides in over the weekend, but Red Hill was too strong for Devon Meadows in this match. And they won that. They had a 7-goal win in the end for that as well. So, yeah, so Red Hill, really great in those.
They've got had a really successful season across
Yeah,
the whole club.
entire club will be really happy with how they've gone. And, so that was a really good win for the C-grade team. And they had some fantastic support down there, the Red Hill. So Red Hill bought their own little marquee down to have beside the court. They had a lot of support down there. They had footballers around. They had a lot of their other grade netballers down there as well. And look, I think that really made a difference because unfortunately Devon really didn't. And as you'll see in the next game, we also took on Devon. And by the end of our game, I think they'd be lucky to have half a dozen people on the sidelines. And you just can't.
That was the biggest factor on the Saturday games, particularly, was the teams that had the bigger crowd. Gave them a push. And even the Sunday, there wasn't really much of a crowd there for any game, which was a little bit disappointing to see.
Yeah, it really is. And this is what I'm going to call out, I think is going to be the biggest thing around our top 5 final series structure. A little bit different for you guys because your football and netball are played on different days. So speaking to the guys, the committee down at Rosebud, they're expecting a really big grand final day for you. Whereas in Division 2, being held on the same day as our football finals, I just don't know how. Look, I could be proven wrong, but I just don't know how it's going to work.
Yeah.
I think you're really going to have some confliction around what sport are you going to go watch.
Particularly at different venues, whereas...
Yeah, exactly right. So I'm not 100% convinced. Look, everyone can prove me wrong and turn up on grand final day and make it massive, but we'll wait and see. But on the C grade, Chelsea versus Red Hill, who's going to make it through to play this, massive
Can Red Hill get the crowd
C
down
grade
to
side?
get them up?
Well, look, let's just make it red versus red versus red versus red. No, so let's go with Chelsea on this one to see if we can break it up and have a different club make it
Bit
through
of
to
blue
the
in there.
finals.
Like to see the blue and white.
All right, B grade. So this was one of the games in particular that I thought was a standout for me in respect to the goalers and girls that I just know their percentage is always 80, 90 plus, just not being able to sink the shots, which is what I could see on this game. And the wind, I think it almost died down a little bit through the A grade game, but the B grade probably got the brunt of it. And I think that scoreline shows, but it was tough out on this court. So 37-30, I don't think, 7 goals, it felt like it was goal for goal watching this game. I only got to see the last bit of the game. On the way to watch this, there was a car accident, which I was first at the scene. So I had to pull over, assist everybody who was in this car accident. I'm like, I've got a netball game to go to. But I had to make sure that everyone was all right, which they all were, thankfully, and finally got to this game to watch the end. And so Coringal, I think they'll be happy. We spoke about this last week, whether it was going to be a tight game or if it was not. I think Coringal will be really happy that this was a tight contest because it put a bit of pressure on them so that they can be ready for that grand final. Langwarrin will be disappointed though, because I think they had the opportunities there. One thing I noticed is that Langwarrin threw so many changes through the court. So they were moving defenders into centre court, goalers into the centre court, everything was happening. And I think sometimes that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to find this miracle kind of combo that's just going to be able to shut it down or to turn it around, probably in this case. And there's sometimes a bit of merit with just leaving it as it is and letting them play it out. I don't know, there's, I suppose, pros and cons to both. But then, and then on the Sunday, which was my game, we took on Devon Meadows and we won that game reasonably convincing in the end, 44-19. Weather was patchy, so we had some rain through the game. We had... so then the courts got quite slippery down at Mornington, which wasn't great. Yeah, in the end, we were just happy to get away with that unscathed, as we've talked about with injuries and things like that, wet, slippery courts. Just, get through it, move on to the next one. So we take on Langwarrin. tomorrow, who we in first week of finals drew to and lost in overtime.
So it's going to be a great game.
We hope so. We hope so. That's what we want in finals. So,
and can either of you get the job done on Kringle?
Maybe if we combine the sides.
Look, both go through.
I think there's different things in Langwarrin and Summy's sides that are great. Kringle probably have a more consistent side, I would say, across the board. I think both Langwarrin and Somerville have patches of brilliance, kind of like in little patches, but Kringle a little bit more consistent. I will do a shout out to my teammate Bryony, who in the first week of finals was sent to the sin bin after just giving an umpire a little bit of a feedback on her decision. She had a blinder.
That's not like Bryony, is it?
You know her well, do you?
Back in primary school.
So she absolutely had a blinder, and if she can bring that game to our Langy versus Summy game, I think that,
And just keep
And then
zips.
similarly with the EDS stronghold on the A grade in Div 1, this B grade team has had quite a stronghold on the competition for a few. Would this be your sixth?
it will be.
Right?
It would be, yes, if we were successful this
Six
year.
back to back, but then maybe
No. There was a break in there. I think 2015 or 16. I think there might have been a break where I think it might have been Devon Meadows potentially.
Yeah.
Someone's going to post on here and correct me, whoever that side was. But there was somebody who intervened on that little succession. But there has been a lot of success there. Look,
Will that spur the girls on a little bit to try and get over the right way this time? Well, the right way, but
Well, we're going through the long way.
But to get over the top of Langy this time?
Yeah, maybe. Look, every year that Somerville has won that flag, it's never been the same side.
Yeah.
And so there are a few players that have played through all of them. There's only 2 that have played in all of them, though. So every year there's been inclusions into that side, people leaving for different reasons, promotion to A grade sides, those type of things. So it's never been the same group all the way across. So it is nice to, there's always a few girls that are in the team who are up and about and want to be part of it.
Yeah.
We are using a few of our C grade girls to be on our bench and to strengthen us across the court in numbers, and they're up and about. They really want to be part of it.
Absolutely.
So, I'd love to just, be able to do it even just for them to experience it as well. So, it's great, selfishly, you want to do it, but I also feel that we've had a great run, so we'll see.
It's hard sometimes when you're
we've got to wait. We've got to win tomorrow.
Yeah.
So the grand final for me is a long way away. Not even thinking about it, because tomorrow is going to be super tough. And I mentioned it to people. I don't feel like I'm that confident. I wasn't confident the last time we played them, and they did beat us. I'm not confident again for tomorrow. It's going to take 100% from all of my girls to be able to get that win.
So don't hear girls, give her 110. We're in trouble.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see. But then, so then we'll be moving on to see who takes on Kringle. All right, A grade. What a game. So this had a little bit of everything in it. And I tell you what, there was people on the sideline. If you ever want to know whether A grade is netball is a contact or a non-contact or a semi-contact or whatever the bloody rule is, mate, Belinda, who plays the crib point, the grazes and the bruises and everything that she had from the game, the commitment to a ball, and it's you cannot deny that these A grade girls take it to that next level, and this really had everything in it this game. So Crib Point, who finished top of the ladder, they had the week off last week, took on Langwarrin and were successful 47-36. So I did stick around for this game because I knew that it would be a cracker. Some things to call out. Weirdly, I've never seen a netball game an umpire call time because there's a crow on the goalpost. The girls were freaking out, and I know there's a lot of people who have fears of birds. But this crow, I tell you what, it would have been about this big. I've never seen a crow so big. Anyway, he decided mid-game that he was going to sit himself on the goalpost. So
how did you get rid?
Time was called, and a girl who didn't have this fear had to go up to the goalpost and shake it to get this bird to move on. Anyway, so that was just a side note. That was funny. I want to pay attention to, we spoke about a little bit earlier, we had Dion who started in goal defence, so obviously Crib Point with Adrian away, looked at what the best matchups were. Emily Bennett, the goal attack for Langwarrin, is a small, zippy goal attack. So ideally that was going to be a great matchup because Dion has the speed, height-wise, she's got the elevation, really great decision there. What was undone though was that they lost that mid-court drive that Dion brings. So that was really evident to me pretty early on. There was a blood rule that came on during the game, and so Crib Point, we had a player come off with a blood rule, and then Shay came on. Now she wouldn't normally be a starting 7 player, I don't think, for Crib Point, not particularly in the finals type games. My word, she did such an amazing job. So she came into defence. I think she can play either end, and she was swung down to the goal end during the game as well. But the intercepts and the tips and the turnovers that she created down that end, loved it. Like, I was really so impressed, and it just gives them another player that they can use, knowing that she held her own in that goal circle, and that's not easy against Langwarrin. So that was really, really great. So yeah, that was a ripper game. Not as windy as probably the B grade game, but still pretty crappy conditions. And the only thing is, you guys are playing at Chelsea this weekend, aren't you?
Yes. The A grader.
Tough conditions there with a very limited warm-up space. So I would be making sure that you get there early, zone off a little space. Maybe you're doing in front of the grandstand or something like that. But it is really tough down there to get a really decent warm-up down at Chelsea. So
Close to the park.
Yeah.
Warm at the park.
It's a long run back.
Yeah, it is a long run back.
If I warmed up over there, I'd be like, okay, so yeah, I'd be like, I can't play the game now. And then on Sunday, following my game, we had Seaford versus Hastings. So they started the game reasonably dry court, and then it just got pretty nasty from there. So low scoring game, but Seaford was able to come away with a win 49-39.
Bouncing back after last week.
Yes, yep. So
maybe you put a little bit of fire in there.
Yeah. So this was a great game. So I watched the first part of this game. Then I must admit I did hightail it over to the footy oval because my boys were playing in an elimination final there. So, but the beauty of the GameFace app is that we were able to keep scores from live scores happening.
And please make sure you do them.
Yeah, I think
we rely on them.
I think Sam now is going to, so she wasn't able to be at your games because she was at Division 2 games because clearly she knows what's more important. And so she, I think, is going to enter the scores when she can to put them in. But I think they're also, the links are getting sent out to both clubs. So please make sure that you're putting them in for everyone who's watching at home so that they can keep themselves updated. Hastings, look, I'm so impressed still. I know that they lost the game, but they're goalers. They're just beautiful players. I understand that one of the girls just had her 18th birthday over the weekend, and to think, and I think the other goaler might be around 17 or 18 as well.
To be that young again.
They can retain them.
If they can keep those girls down there, they are just, and also keep Sarah and Jess feeding them through the mid-court. They are
be a force.
100%, because they are just, the part that I like about them is that they don't buy into any of the crap that goes on. So they're disturbed
Unfazed.
by, unfazed by all of the contact and the noise on the sidelines. They just play, and they're just beautiful players. So I really hope that Hastings is able to hold on to them. If they're not,
All the better for
please
the finals.
please contact me.
All the better for the finals experience too, I would have thought.
Oh, definitely. Look, I think these girls are probably playing in other netball comps and probably playing lots of finals. But yeah, they're really, really lovely
what
players.
Hastings are trying to do and build from
Yep.
lower up. And
they've
it
really
might take some
struggled.
time.
They've really struggled over the last, half a dozen years with years not even being able to field an A-grade side.
Yeah.
So just having that group there has really helped across the board. There's some teams that might necessarily have made finals, but they're up and about. They're getting led by a group
see
of
what's happening.
Yeah, and they know where they can strive to be. So that's really, really great for Hastings. Yeah. So Seaford, I'm not going to mention. Megan celebrated her birthday over the weekend, so maybe they won it for that. But Megan, I'm not going to say anything.
Did you get a bit of backlash?
I might have got a bit of backlash.
It's all right. It's what we're here for. Our opinions. That's
yes.
what we're here for,
So Seaford are going to have a tough match. They're going to play against Langwarrin, who they lost and had that.
Not so good game against.
Yeah, an unhappy coach about. And so I'll be interesting because I'm really not going to say much. I think Langwarrin, after coming away with that loss to Crib Point, I'll be interesting to see whether they can bounce back. Seaford are going to be up and about. But
it's going to be tough, that game.
It's going to be really tough. I don't know if I want to tip. I might get myself in trouble.
I'm going to go for a tip for you.
All right. Shout out your tip.
I reckon Seaford are going to get the job done in overtime.
Ooh.
Well, I'm going to go for Langy, just to make it interesting.
You know what? If it goes to overtime, that means I've got to hang around longer to clean the place up.
That's what finals is all about, Christy.
Get it over and done with, girls. No, just for the sport, let's hope it's just a good game.
Which of them can beat Crib Point? Or can nobody reach Crib Point this year?
Oh no, I think both of them could.
Can challenge.
Yep, I think both of them can challenge. I think that's the thing with a lot of our, and I think you're seeing it as well, is that
it depends on the
top
day.
2 or 3.
Yeah,
exactly.
absolutely.
Or who's left? The teams that are left. So it is for us. It's
we were
3
saying
teams
before,
left.
Who shows up?
Mornington were down and out, but they proved us wrong, and they've taken that win. And really, the 4 teams that are left in,
it's anyone's game. So
similarly,
exciting.
you've got 3 teams left in, and it's up for anyone's.
And both of Langwarrin, I know, have a huge supporter base. They're only going to have to drive down the hill to get to Summy from Langy, and they get very loud. We played them a couple of weeks ago, and it was deafening. And the boys there go to the games all throughout the year, so they know the rules, they understand the sport. They're making, educated comments from the sidelines, and they're loud about it. And, that really can make a difference. So a shout out to Seaford. If you want to see your girls across the line and into a
You need to get your
game, you need to get your game there.
Absolutely. How exciting. Well, what a massive week ahead for Div 2. Can't wait to see who's going to be in the big one the week after. So good luck to everybody, especially your girls. Christy,
Thank
we
you.
just say, because, big jog ahead of you tomorrow.
I just don't want to go into overtime. I can't handle it.
It's too much. So we definitely look forward to seeing who'll be joining Seaford in the under-17s, Caribbean A-grade and Karingal across all of those other grades, those dominant Karingal girls.
Yes.
Stay tuned now, girls, because after this short message, we've got the rumour file. Thanks so much to Frankie Media for their ongoing support. If you need help with websites, marketing, signage or promotional videos, make sure you jump onto frankiemedia.com.au. Now time for the rumour file, Christy. What have we got this week?
Okay.
Anything juicy, surely.
Look, I was scouting around the courts hoping that I could get...
Have some whispers in your ear.
All right. Division 1. Which Division 1 player skipped their final last Saturday to go to the Vixens versus Magpies game?
What?
Maybe.
I tell you, I would, if I was the coach of that player, I would be furious.
maybe it shows a lot of maybe they don't have so much respect for the coach if they're
or their fellow players.
Cracking game that they went to watch, but they
yeah, great game, great to
Look,
support
if
your
you're
netball. But
playing
if
in
you're
the Vixens Magpies game, look, I'd have an understanding.
they're on the bench. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have an understanding for that. I also appreciate the fact that you guys are the week behind. So if it wasn't potentially an elimination, I don't, like the.
even then,
Oh look, there's players going on overseas holidays during the finals. So what's
Yeah,
a
Going
what's a
Not me.
netball cash?
During, you do it during the season, so maybe
Anyways,
Yeah.
interesting. I know they wouldn't be taking the
That's
court
not
next week if
that's
they
not an
were my
overseas
team, but-
holiday.
100% they
Yeah,
wouldn't.
No, absolutely.
I'd be saying they've got to buy their 2020 membership for whichever club they barrack for, because you're going to see all the games next year on the Saturday.
out.
Division 2, sorry, was that too harsh? Division 2 is just how I roll. Division 2, which Div 2 club was allegedly granted special permission to play a player in finals who was not qualified?
Ooh,
So
Was it me?
it's not. How many games to qualify? 6 or 8?
8.
8.
8 to play finals.
8 to play finals.
6 in the lowest team.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
play. So
they just forgot, or why didn't they qualify? Maybe they
there was
injured,
I
or-
mean, we've had some injuries that could have. We were trying to
Get them
qualify
back.
and then
Yeah.
it didn't happen
And
because
we
of
had to
injury.
do that.
Yeah.
We had to do that. So I had a player who was coming back from injury, who we were stepping on court very early on, with no intention of them to actually play any game time.
just to get them qualified.
But they had to get qualified, so we were stepping them on and just like, do not even go near the ball because you're not ready yet.
Stand
But we
there.
had to get her on the court, and that's the unfortunate thing. So we're doing
bad
things
part
like
of the
that,
rule, isn't it? Yeah.
and that is the unfortunate
Yeah.
part of the rule, because, you know, effectively, like not.
It's a bit pointless in the end, isn't it? To do
Yeah,
that?
so
Yeah.
you're manipulating the rules to a degree, just so that you're qualifying them. But that's allowed within
Yeah.
our game.
And sometimes when clubs don't manage things,
So if they're not
they
doing
weren't-
that
if
correctly-
they weren't thinking about manipulating
If they're not thinking
the rules,
ahead,
and then they
yeah.
just
They got to the end of the
Yeah.
season, they had
Or-
6 players. What are you
or-
going to do?
Yeah, maybe they just overshot something, and
And then
there's
the-
legitimate reasons.
Yeah.
I know.
The other thing, though, if there's not legitimate reasons, and it's just because they're a great player and they weren't available or anything like that, and there's someone who's now not taking the court because we've qualified somebody else, that I would be disappointed about as well. So
Surely they wouldn't get granted it, though, if that was... Oh, I suppose, how do you know?
Well,
I don't know.
Depends on their submission,
I don't
doesn't
make
it?
the decisions.
Just
Dunno.
so how does that grant? Does the league grant? Is it same in Div 2? The league grants it, or do the clubs have to vote for it to be granted? Or
Yeah.
I think last year
I believe the
we
league.
just-
I believe the league approves it.
Okay.
Yep.
Because we tried that last year just purely with injuries, and a player hadn't played enough, but it went to the teams to vote on,
Because it was YCW.
and it got rejected, which was
Because it was YCW. You got enough sided in finals. They go, they don't need an extra player.
That's why we needed someone.
Oh dear. Wow, very interesting. Well, I wonder if that affected the results at all. We might see what comes out of that over the next couple of weeks. So that's it for tonight, guys. That's our show. We've getting definitely to the pointy end of the season now. So thanks for tuning in, and we've definitely got to get home and rest up for tomorrow.
Like I
We've all
say, I
got some
promise
big
my
games
coach, this
to
is my
play.
one and only
Just
glass,
one.
I promise.
Just one tonight. That is for sure. So good luck to
Don't
everybody.
do anything differently.
It's a regular
do it
Friday
all.
night. Yeah.
Keep with the routine.
Good luck all, this weekend.
Yes,
everyone.
definitely tune into the GameFace app as well and keep an eye on those live scores that everybody's going to put in. And thanks for joining us, guys.
Good night.
Cheers.